Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present Samurai Rising, The Epic Life of Minamoto Yoshitsune by Pamela S. Turner. Illustrated by Gareth Hines. Narrated by Brian Nishi. Introduction. Few warriors are as famous as the Japanese samurai. We remember those beautiful swords and those fearsome helmets. We recall, with both horror and fascination, how some chose to end their own lives. But no one can understand the samurai without knowing Minamoto Yoshitsune. Yoshitsune's story unfolds in the late 12th century, during the adolescence of the samurai. Yes, cultures have their youth, maturity, and old age just as people do. During Yoshitsune's lifetime, the samurai awakened. Their culture was bold, rebellious, and eager to flex its muscle. The samurai would ultimately destroy Japan's old way of life and forge a new one using fire and steel and pain. Yoshitsune was at the very heart of this samurai rising. Exile, runaway, fugitive, rebel, and hero, he became the most famous warrior in Japanese history. The reason is simple. Yoshitsune was the kind of man other samurai longed to be. Chapter 1. Disaster in Kyoto. Kyoto, 1160. Minamoto Yoshitsune's inheritance arrived early. The boy could not yet walk when his father left him a lost war, a shattered family, and a bitter enemy. Yoshitsune's father prepared for battle in the cold darkness of a winter night. Warrior pride demanded elegance, so servants led out 2 war horses, one black and one white, for him to choose between. He ordered pine torches held aloft. The bronze and silver fittings on the horses' saddles flashed and sparkled in the light. "When one goes into battle, nothing is so important as one's horse," Yoshitsune's father declared. Yoshitsune's father was the leader of the Minamoto samurai. 500 warriors followed him as he rode astride his black war horse through the shadowy streets of Kyoto. Surely the commoners who lived along the way, fishmongers and silk weavers, carpenters and midwives, beggars and papermakers, were awakened by the clattering of 2,000 hoofs. Just as surely, they clutched their children close and remained silent, knowing that nothing good ever comes of heavily armed men moving in the dead of night. 2 hours after midnight, Yoshitsune's father and his men reached their target, the palace of the retired emperor. The Minamoto forces barged through the palace gates, dragged the startled retired emperor from his slumber, and shoved him into an ox cart. The cart rolled away with Yoshitsune's father riding guard alongside. Never before had a samurai dared to lay hands on a former emperor. As head of the imperial family, the retired emperor wielded enormous power. The reigning emperor, the retired emperor's teenage son, served as a figurehead. The retired emperor was the true ruler. He wrote the laws, controlled the government, and awarded titles and land to the Japanese elite. In addition to his power, the retired emperor enjoyed enormous prestige. Japanese emperors were considered semi-divine descendants of the sun goddess. Most people would think twice about kidnapping a demigod, but Yoshitsune's father was not a think-twice sort of person. Plus, he was in a nasty snit. A few years earlier, he had taken the retired emperor's side in a political dispute. When the retired emperor won the dispute, Yoshitsune's father had expected a lofty title and the wealth that went with it. Instead, he was named Minister of the Stables of the Left. A rival samurai leader named Taira Kiyomori, who had also backed the retired emperor, received a much grander reward. To get back at those who had slighted him, Yoshitsune's father was willing to risk his own life, the lives of...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.